Just in front of us, right here, is the statue of Lot's wife.
For almost 2,000 years, the story of Lot's wife has been one of the most haunting tales in the Bible. She disobeyed a divine command and was instantly turned into a pillar of salt. Her story has echoed through generations, showing what happens when someone ignores God's warning. But what if it wasn't just a story after all? Maybe this really did happen. Now, recent archaeological discoveries buried beneath the salt and sand may finally reveal what truly happened in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's find out. But first, let's go back to where it all began. The biblical account of Lot's wife. It's one of the oldest and most haunting stories ever told, straight from Genesis, chapter 19. The world had become corrupt. Two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, were drowning in sin and arrogance. When their wickedness became too great to ignore, God decided it was time to bring judgment. But then, Abraham asked God to show mercy on them, and out of kindness, God agreed to save Lot and his family. Two angels were sent to warn them, to pull them out before the fire fell. They gave one final instruction: don't look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains, or you will be destroyed. But then came the moment remembered for thousands of years. In Genesis 19:26, it says, "But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt." Lot's wife didn't follow God's command, and in that moment, she faced the result. She wasn't burned or struck by a storm. Instead, she turned into a pillar of salt. It was a powerful reminder of what happens when someone disobeys God. But do you know where all of this happened? The mystery of the pillar. It was in the Dead Sea region, a land so dry and empty that it feels cursed. It's the lowest place on earth, surrounded by white cliffs and burning hot air. Salt covers the rocks, and the water is so harsh that it hurts instead of heals. It's easy to imagine that when people heard about Sodom's destruction, they looked at this scorched land and said, "This must be the place." Yeah. For centuries, travelers have been amazed by this strange land where fire and salt seem to meet. High above the Dead Sea stands Mount Sodom, a long ridge made almost entirely of rock salt. Its shining surface, carved by wind and water, is full of cracks and eerie shapes. And among these cliffs stands a tall pillar shaped like a woman, facing the valley as if she's still looking at what once burned below. People have called it Lot's wife for thousands of years, and this story isn't new. An ancient Jewish historian named Flavius Josephus wrote about it nearly 2,000 years ago. He said he saw the pillar himself still standing, just like the Bible described. This means that for at least 2,000 years, people have believed this site is where Lot's wife looked back. Modern scientists are both amazed and puzzled by this strange formation. Mount Sodom is made nearly completely of halite, which is pure rock salt. This means the pillar wasn't made by human beings. It formed naturally over hundreds of years as wind, rain, and minerals shaped the salt. But here's what makes it mysterious. The pillar's shape looks too perfect. It stands apart from the mountain, and its outline even seems to show a head and shoulders, almost like a real person. It's hard to believe it's just a random shape. Some say it's only a natural formation, while others believe it's a sign from God. Standing alone against the desert sky, Lot's wife looks frozen between the past and her punishment. Is it just a coincidence? Or could this be the oldest monument to disobedience in the world? Everyone who visits feels the same chill, because whether it's a miracle or not, the figure almost seems alive, as if it's telling something to the world. Archaeological evidence of lost cities. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. For years, scientists and archaeologists have searched for proof that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah really happened, and what they've found is truly shocking. Just north of the Dead Sea, places like Bab-ed-Dra and Tal el-Hammam show signs of destruction that normal battles can't explain. Layers of thick ash, melted stones, and pottery turned into glass. The heat that caused it all was more than 2,000 degrees Celsius, hot enough to destroy everything in an instant. Could nature alone have done this? Some researchers believe a massive explosion from the sky, a cosmic airburst, like the one that hit Siberia's Tunguska forest in 1908, might have struck this area thousands of years ago. The shock wave from such a blast could have set the entire valley on fire, raining down burning debris, just as the Bible says. Then the Lord rained brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah, Genesis 19:24. Even skeptics admit that something extraordinary happened here, something powerful enough to leave the land scarred forever. The ground itself, with its layers of ash and strange salt formations, seems to carry the memory of a great disaster. The Earth's layers, the salt formations, and the ruins all seem to tell the same story: that this was once a land consumed by fire and judgment. Modern scientific explanations. Science has tried to explain the pillar for centuries. Some believe that a mix of extreme heat, salt vapor, and minerals in the air could have instantly turned organic matter into crystal, a rare but not impossible reaction. Others argue that the pillar is purely geological, a natural salt spire that ancient observers linked to the biblical story. But even the most skeptical geologists agree on one thing: this is one of the only regions on Earth where a human-shaped salt formation like this could naturally exist. And that, in itself, makes it eerie. The Dead Sea Basin is volatile, prone to earthquakes and underground gas eruptions. A sudden blast could have engulfed everything in a wave of ash, smoke, and salt vapor, creating shapes that resemble figures turned to stone. But that brings us back to the real question: why did this happen? And why did Lot's wife look back in that moment? She wasn't just curious. Maybe she turned toward her home, the life, memories, and comfort she was leaving behind. Maybe her heart couldn't let go. And in that single moment of hesitation, she broke a divine command meant to save her life. It wasn't the glance that doomed her. It was the attachment, the heart that refused to move forward. Centuries later, Jesus reminded his followers of her story with just 3 powerful words: remember Lot's wife. Luke 17:32. Because her story isn't just about salt or punishment. It's about attachment. It's about how we sometimes hold on to things that are already gone, things we're meant to leave behind. Faith, obedience, and love all ask us to move forward. But she looked back, and that's when everything went against her. Why Lot's wife matters today. Thousands of years after that morning on the plain, the story of Lot's wife still speaks to us. Archaeologists may continue to debate the origin of the salt pillar, but its message hasn't changed. In a world that often doubts miracles and calls them myths, the land itself seems to speak. The geography of the Dead Sea, the ash-covered ruins of ancient cities, and the salt cliffs along the shore all seem to tell the world that something extraordinary once happened here. But beyond the history and science, her story reflects something deeply human. The story of Lot's wife is more than just an ancient warning. It's a reflection of our own choices. Every generation faces the same struggle: to look back, to cling to what's comfortable. Lot's wife stands as a timeless symbol of a divided heart, someone torn between the past and the future. And maybe that's why her story still matters today. Because even in this modern world filled with technology and endless information, the human heart hasn't changed. We still look back when we're called to move forward. So maybe the question isn't just about Lot's wife, maybe it's about us. When we're told to move on, will we obey or will we look back? So, what do we make of this mysterious pillar rising from the salt cliffs? Was it a miracle or just a geological accident that happens to look like history frozen in place? Whatever it is, one thing remains clear. The story of Lot's wife refuses to fade. The land still bears her name, the mountain still guards her form, and her message still echoes. When God calls you forward, don't look back. Because sometimes what you turn to see is the very thing meant to destroy you. But what do you think? Was this a miracle or not? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe so you don't miss our future videos like this. Until then, see ya.